I just want us to go to Kisumu County and just listening to what the residents are saying. I know Kenyans are very eager to hear what the president will be saying today in his address. And I just want us to cross over to Bramwell Bwire, who is on standby in Kisumu County, to bring us more details. He's speaking to residents there, and let's just listen in.
Thank you, Leah. As you've rightly indicated, we're here at Kisumu, and this is Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Street. You've said the president is expected later on to address the nation, and I'm also here wanting to speak just to several residents who have been waiting for this opportunity just to air the expectation. What is it that they want the president to address? Is there any hope for the nation? Remember, the country has been going through a lot of issues ranging from politics to human rights violation to that separation of powers from separate ministry within the country. With me here, I'll start with the lady who has joined me pretty much earlier. Is there any hope as we wait for the president to address the nation later on at 2 p.m.?
Thank you so much, Bramwell. My name is Victoria Adwet, and yes, there is a lot of expectation. From me as Victoria, number one, I would like the president to address, to build up from the previous State of the Nation address, and we are looking at some of the commitments that were made. Now, as a starting point, I would like to understand that where are we? What are the gaps? What is the data when it comes to those commitments? What are the progresses? And what are the failures? And what can be done about the failures? Secondly, we are talking about new commitments that we expect. I'm looking at a situation where the president or the head of the nation will be talking about deliverables, come up with commitments whereby it impacts on the local mwananchi. It affects or it improves on the lives of the local mwananchi. As a youth also, I would say that the digital space is very important to us, and I would like to get to understand that, do we still have the freedom of speech? Do we still have this freedom of expression? These are some of the things that I would like to be highlighted. And finally, in the sanitation department, yesterday we commemorated the World Toilets Day, and the theme was, we all need toilets. But in the previous State of the Nation address, the sanitation aspect was a bit vague. It was a gray area, and I would like to understand or to know if this is an aspect that can actually be given a lot of priority in this sector.
Before I let you go, youths have a role to play in all this that you're speaking about, holding the government accountable, asking President Ruto to ensure that there are some deliverables in whatever state of address he's giving to the nation. What is the role of the youths in all this?
Well, the youth can have a lot of things they can do when it comes to this. And I'll only speak about one. Coming up with a dashboard for social accountability. We can help the government to monitor what are some of the service delivery commitments that they made. As young people, we have the ability, we have the knowledge, we have the digital skills to come up with such a dashboard so as to keep checks and tracks on some of these commitments.
Thank you, Victoria. Davis, there is that issue of separation of powers. We've seen people coming up and saying the president has held the parliament at ransom. What is your take on this as the president heads for another State of the Nation address?
Thank you very much. First, I do recognize that Article 132 of the Constitution of Kenya mandates the president to address the parliament and the nation. And in its address, the Constitution provides that the president is bound to address the national values and principles that are contained in Article 10. And this includes questions such as inclusivity, the rule of law, democracy, and human rights, among others. The article further provides that the president is entitled to inform the people of Kenya on its international obligations. In this sense, therefore, one of the principles of democracy is separation of powers. And as you have mentioned rightly, there is a growing concern that the Parliament of Kenya is under hostage and that they do not make legislation independently as envisioned under the Constitution. Therefore, I wish to call upon the president to ensure adherence to the separation of powers so that we can have strong and independent institutions of separation of powers, such as the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature, so that we can deliver the promises that the people of Kenya were given.
Before I let you go in 30 minutes, the country has been at a point where there is a growing concern of dissenting voices. Anytime there is someone who is speaking a language that is seemingly is not in tandem with what the government has said, we've seen him being subjected to all sorts of manners of torture and such stuffs. What is your take on this as the president gears for that?
First, the Bill of Rights of our Constitution guarantees us rights and freedoms which are not given by the state. They are inalienable. We are entitled to these rights. And therefore, the continuing undermining of the rights of the people of Kenya is a matter that we condemn in the strongest possible terms. We have a right to raise concerns. We have a right to raise legitimate issues, and therefore we wish to call upon the state to respect the rule of law and ensure that people are not abducted illegally and unlawfully, and that the due process of the law is followed to the letter in this country.
Thank you. We're speaking about bottom-up economic transformation agenda. That's the better. That was the campaign pillar of President William Ruto as he came to Kenya to seek for a chance to serve as a president. Has the president delivered on that bottom-up economic transformation agenda?
Okay, I'm Wycliffe Olagotieno, and I would like to support that so far so good. Our president has delivered around 98% about his bottom agenda government.
When you talk about 8%, what exactly do you mean? What are these? What are the parameters are you using to measure this?
Okay, I measure this by using the most of the project I've seen around the government or the president launched around. Number one, the affordable housing. When you go to Kisumu, Nairobi, Mombasa, Siaya, most of them are almost being done, and most of the residents are almost getting in these houses. Number two, I would like to talk about the blue economy. The other day you saw he picked some of the experts from the opposition, Hassan Joho, John Badi. So far, so good. In terms of the blue economy, Hassan Joho has tried at the CS. When you go to Luanda Mageta, you go to Mombasa, there's a good arrangement with our people, with our fisheries, with our goods, services, so many things.
Thank you. We're moving on a little bit faster because the time is of essence here. Of course, we'll be looking keenly at that blue economy aspect, bearing in mind that the Lakeside region has the main economic activity running around Lake Victoria. Your name briefly, he's saying that the president, he can give him credit for trying to deliver on that bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Your take on that?
My name is Jimmy Magero. I'm a youth leader from this county. First, I would like to say that the bottom-up economy was mainly targeting especially those people of low income. But then we are still seeing a situation whereby the implementation of this bottom-up is still not favoring the intended group. If you talk about affordable housing, the question that we need to ask ourselves is affordable housing for who? We are having residents who are living, for example, at Makasembo. Those who are paying rent as low as 3,000, as low as 5,000. They were removed from that place so that affordable housing programs will be implemented. At the moment, who are the occupants of Makasembo affordable housing program? Those houses currently go for about maybe 10,000, 15,000 shillings if you were to rent those houses. So where and what is the fate of the people who were living there previously? So I feel that the bottom-up economy is a fallacy. It is not implemented to benefit the intended group. Yes.
Magero, before I let you go, what is your expectation as the president heads for that address?
My expectation as the president prepares to give the State of the Nation address is to ensure that he talks about, especially as a young person, programs which are in place to ensure that we empower young people. He came up, I know very well that the Nyota program is one program that is very close to his heart. But then now we are seeing a lot of challenges that are coming up with this program. What are some of the criteria that they are using to ensure that every young person has got an opportunity to get those funds? And if they are going to give those funds, I know very well that they are giving up 50,000 shillings. 50,000 shillings for a young person to start a small business. First, I feel that they need to increase that amount maybe to 100,000 shillings. If you look at the licensing processes, if one young person has to start a business, the licensing process alone will consume the entire 50,000 shillings. So I feel that the president needs to scrap off the license, some of these licenses, to give the young people an opportunity to explore that program and make sure that it has got an impact in the end.
Finally, Dick, you hear the president is addressing the nation, and of course there are some issues the youths have raised here, all the way from the Nyota program to the affordable housing program, particularly the licensing program. And we're talking about policies that touch on taxation, and we're talking about the high cost of living and levels of inflation. What is your take as the president heads to address the nation?
Okay, my name is Ardi Korongo, a community organizer in Kisumu. On the matters of State of the Nation address, I believe the nation can't be built on promises. It can't be built on maybe motorcades, the number of motorcades you're seeing, the groundbreakings all across the country without anything of meaning happening after the groundbreaking. So when we talk about the State of the Nation, I would like us to go back to the basics, the dignity of the common mwananchi. Can the common family in Kenya afford food? Can the common child in Kenya afford going to school without being sent home for the school fees? Can a young person in Kenya access employment? Are the citizens allowed to criticize the government without reprisals? So these are the measures that we need to use when speaking about the state of the nation. And in all these measures, the country is going backwards. So that is what I would like to say.
Thank you, Deke, for interest of time. When we get another chance, we'll be coming back to you guys and here, and of course other residents from Kisumu, just to hear what is their view, what is the expectation, what are their anticipation as the president is set to address the nation. But one thing that is clear here is that residents are feeling this address should not be built on promises. This address should be handling critical issues that are affecting common man. The president campaigned with full numbers of promises, so the residents here are waiting to see this time round, will the president issue more promises, or this time round he will be giving actionable deliverables that will going to transform the life of a common man. So from here, Kisumu, Leah, back to you in the studios.
Thank you so much, Bramwell Bwire, there in Kisumu County, talking to residents, and very passionate remarks, gentlemen. I'm hearing issues on affordable housing, also the digital issue of